How's it going, everyone? It's Abysmal Bloom here. First off, I want to start by wishing everybody happy Easter. I hope you guys are having a blessed weekend, and to make it even better, I wanted to post a deck profile. So today I'm sharing with you guys my Purrely Fiendsmith deck profile that I've been playing for the past few weeks. It's extremely powerful. I've been able to consistently get top cut, if not first with it. I'll also be talking a little bit about the next format, Alliance Insight, that's coming out in a few weeks and how that's going to possibly change the way you want to play Purrely. So with that being said, let's just jump right on into the video. So starting off with the main deck, this is a 42 card list. We are playing Purrely Fiendsmith, and we are going with a board breaker approach. So keep that in mind. Starting off with the Purrely package, I am on 2 copies of Purrely and 2 copies of Purrely. The names and the ratios feel fine. You don't really need to do too much more, especially since I'm also playing 3 copies of the field spell. So if your opponent ever does out your Purrely Xyz monster, you're just able to revive the names from the graveyard. I'm on 2 copies of My Friend Purrely, and this one might be a shocker to most of you guys, but honestly, the 2 ratio has been working fine. It's very easily searchable off of Purrely, so you never really lose access to it. Next, I'm on max copies of all the quick plays, just because you want to play every single one you can, and then we also play the 1 copy of Purrely Yeep. So that's the Purrely package. That comes to 20 cards. For the Fiendsmith, I'm on 2 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurie, 1 Tract, and the Fiendsmith in Paradise. I'm not going to speak too much about the Fiendsmith package. It's just one of the most generic and strong packages right now, so you just have to play it, and it really just helps you extend and keep on going. Lurie has some fun interactions with the Purrely quick plays, because if you discard him, he just summons back, and now you have access to both engines immediately. I'm trying to play the Fiendsmith package at a minimum, and you don't necessarily always make the package, but if you have extra bodies lying around, it's fair game. That's really all it is. For the non-engine, I'm on 1 copy of Pot of Prosperity, and the biggest reason why I'm playing this is because I also have Ultimate Slayer in the side, and so we have 4 extra deck slots just set up for Ultimate Slayer, and Pot of Prosperity just gives me more use for the other 3, because you only really need 1 of them when you use it to out your opponent's board. Next, this card has become a lot more accessible now with the reprints, but Mulcharmy Fuvulos is an amazing card. Obviously, it is a hand trap, but it's very powerful because it helps draw into your board breakers. And on top of that, because your opponent doesn't want to help you draw a lot of cards, they end up usually either trying to weaken their board, or if they can't do anything about it, they just end up helping you draw into all the cards you need to out their board. I wanted to try out this card, Forbidden Droplet, and I've been loving it. So I'm currently using it at 2, but I'm thinking of trying to up this card to 3 just because of how good and powerful it's been. Next, I'm on 1 copy of Call by the Grave. In a similar fashion, I'm on 2 copies of Thrust and 1 copy of Talents, 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods, and its main purpose is to dump the Black Goat Laughs. The last 3 cards I've been playing are 3 copies of Imperm. It's just another card that I wanted to have more advantage with the Mulcharmies. This card is a hand trap, but technically if you draw it for turn, you can still use it as your board breaker, provided that it's you're going second and you haven't set up anything yet. For the extra deck, for the Purrely side of the engine, I'm on 1 copy of X Purrely Noir, and then 1 of each of the rank 2s. I already mentioned it, but the extra deck is very tight, and so we are really trying to make space for everything that we need, and that kind of hits the Purrely package because you don't have the second X Purrely Noir. For the Fiendsmith package, we have the Winged King Caesar, the Desiree and the Necrocourt Princess, and then finally we've got the Link stuff. So Requiem, Moon of the Closed Heaven, and Sequence. If I did have space, I would have totally wanted to play the Link 3 Fiendsmith as well, just because it gives you that OTK power that the deck really needs. And then finally, the last 4 cards are literally just the Ultimate Slayer targets. So you got Aggregator, Malong, Garura, and the Bucephalus. Finally, for the side deck, we are on 3 copies of Lancia, 3 copies of Droll. I'm then on 2 copies of Perulia. I'm on 2 copies of Ultimate Slayer, 1 Feather Duster, and 2 Lightning Storm. Finally, I've got 2 cards as Floodgates for when we go first. We've got the Different Dimension Ground. And then the last card I'm playing right now is Mischief of the Gnomes. So now that we've got the deck list out of the way, I just wanted to have a quick discussion about the next format. So Alliance Insight, as I mentioned before, is coming out in around 2 weeks' time. And there's some crazy strategies that are getting a boost. So right now, both Ryziel and Malice are kind of weak because of the ban list, but once the new format hits, they get some really needed consistency pieces. That being said, though, Ryziel Detonator being at 1 is still very huge for the deck because that's their main advantage piece, and once you get that out of the way, they don't really have much going for them. So even though they have more consistency now with the Field Spell Searcher, it's not as crazy, and I don't think Ryziel is going to be too much of a threat as long as you're able to get to your Purrely Noir. But that being said, the variations of Ryziel do get better. We've got Mitsurugi getting some crazy support, and I'm actually scared of that deck right now, just because the new support actually lets them tribute our monsters, and that's really bad for Purrely Noir because that means you've got to worry about kaiju-like effects just dealing with your board, and then on top of that, it's giving the opponent additional follow-up and searches, and it's just wild. So yeah, Mitsurugi especially is going to be very scary to deal with. And then on top of that, we've got the Malice deck, where they get a bit stronger with both new Malice support, which lets them play through Lancia better, and on top of that, they're also getting the Ad Ignister support, which really just helps their cyber side of the engine also just perform better. So again, that's another scary strategy because your Lancia might not be enough anymore. But with that being said, that's probably going to make or force some changes for the Purrely list, because as long as you're able to get to Purrely Noir, you don't really have to worry about too much versus most decks. But the Mitsurugi deck can break that. And so one card I've been thinking about specifically for the matchup is to play Mask of Restrict. So going first, and if you're able to set up your Purrely Noir, you just prevent the summoning mechanic altogether. Neither player can tribute cards, and that's a huge problem for the Mitsurugi version. They can't deal with not being able to tribute your stuff, and then on top of that, if you have to deal with an Purrely Noir with this, I don't think they're playing at all. Funny enough, this card actually hits other decks in the meta as well. So if you look at the Blue Eyes deck, they need to tribute their cards for part of the effect to get their stuff going. So they can't do the Link 1 play because they can't tribute it to bring out Blue Eyes. They can't use Seal's effect to tribute it and bounce a card. And then even if they want to go for like the Tyrant Dragon play, they need to tribute a Blue Eyes with a fusion monster equipped to it. And the best part of all, their Synchro 9s need a tribute to actually go into the monsters that they care about. So yeah, Mask of Restrict really shuts down Blue Eyes. But it also comes up versus the Fiendsmith stuff because the Link 1 needs to tribute to actually go into the remaining Fiendsmith stuff. So it can actually really slow down all these other really powerful strategies. Another package that seems really relevant going forward is the fact that people are looking at Kashtira as being a really powerful form of interaction. First off, against the Ryziel matchups, you're able to banish face down their one and only copy of Detonator occasionally with the Unicorn, and even versus other matchups. Just really hitting those key one-ofs really shuts down those matchups a lot more. So Cashier is getting more popular now, and so that means that this list that I've been using so far, we probably end up having to give up on the Ultimate Slayer package just because of how important getting to X Purrely Noir is. So being able to have 2 copies, maybe even 3 copies of the towers himself, really is important. Going second, obviously, into the matchup isn't the worst for us. In any matchup in general, just because we just hit them with board breakers and really just shut down their board. But going first, I really want to have a bit more power to make sure that they cannot break the towers that we sit on. And that's what we're really going to look at doing with the changes. And so that's really what the Purrely Fiendsmith stuff I'm thinking about changing. Another actually really cool strategy that I wanted to talk about is the new sets getting new fairy support, which is actually really cool. You do get fairy locked if you tribute the, I think the card was called Kambi, but you're able to still use that as another consistency piece for the Purrely engine. So I might actually try building the Purrely fairy variation again, just because we're getting some really cool new fairies, and yeah, that and Diviner of the Herald, Trisarchia, all this stuff just becomes better again. Plus, the Diviner of the Herald was always really good as a way to just dump the Shizu Shufflers, which again would be out to cards that really care about stuff in the graveyard. So yeah, I feel like the fairy variation could actually really be coming back up again. So those are the main things I wanted to talk about. There's so much going on into the next format. I'll definitely try to get more posts out there for stuff you want to consider. But yeah, if you subscribe to the channel, you get the notification, and that helps you guys know when I get the video out right away. So yeah, that's all I had to share with you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right then, bye.